Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? Leaving this site right now for the Jedi. But I'm seeing a lot of Andre slander, man. There's a lot of people who wasn't particularly impressed with his performance on Saturday night, and they feel that he's food for these three opponents in particular: Charlo, Golovkin, and Canelo. And I just want to give some sort of breakdown and analysis to the best of my capabilities on who I think will win in fights. First, we'll start. I'll go from least challenging to greatest challenge. So we'll start with Charlo first, and I think him and Charlo is like a 50-50 fight, man. I talk a lot. I talk pretty greasy about Charlo, man, just because I don't like a lot of the shit that they do. And I don't like the overt aggression. I told y'all about that shit, but that doesn't take away from his skill set and where he's at. He's good. Charlo is he's clearly a reputable middleweight. Clearly, he's a champion. He's not following in the footsteps of his brother, who's trying to be great. That's a different subject, though. But as far as those two are concerned, where I think Andrade has the better feet. Charlo isn't too fast on his feet. He's not too fast on his feet. He's not too great at closing distance. You dig? If you keep him at the end of your jab, or like Korobov showed, the end of your power hand, you can kind of keep him stagnant and honest. So I think the greatest degree of difficulty in that fight for Charlo would be Andrade's feet. Like, Andrade has really good feet. He might have the better of the feet between the three cats mentioned in this video. He may have the better feet. Maybe, considering Golovkin. But he might have, as far as what he can do with this, as far as him being able to stay on the outside and, you know what I'm saying, and never back straight up and get up under a hook and spin out, so you have to reset to find him. I see that being a real big hurdle for a nigga like Charlo to deal with, because he hasn't fought nobody who's particularly fleet-footed and at that level of skill. You dig? J-Rock isn't necessarily fleet-footed. J-Rock has good footwork to keep you at bay or whatever, but he can't. He doesn't strike me as a cat who punches on the go. Andrade can punch on the go. He moves very well in the ring, very well. And and his defense as well. I think he's better. He has better upper body movement than a Jamal Charlo. He has better upper body movement than a Jamal Charlo. I think. His defense, man, he has pretty good. He's slick in there. He's really slick. He's slippery in there. He's hard to hit, and not just with him offsetting you with his movement, man, but like I said, when he gets trapped on the rope, he's good at weaving under the hooks and spinning back out. He's really good at that. And I always say he never backs straight up. He never spins out and stays in a position of where you can, launch a hook like Linares was doing with Lomachenko. He never does that. He never stays in position on it, where he's like, all right, I know where he's gonna be as soon as he gets up. As soon as his head gets back up in position of where it can be hit flush, I know where he'll be at. So I just gotta pivot with him and launch something off of it. He's not, he's never really, he gets out. Like, I don't even really see him countering when he rolls up under a hook. Well, nah, I'll take that back. He can. I think he did it once or twice with Liam Williams, but I see him mostly getting out of there. Come on now. I see him most likely getting out of there. So those would be the two things in favor of an Andrade. What would be in favor of Charlo would be his counter punches. I think Charlo's a sharper counter puncher than Andrade. I think he has. I don't want to say knockouts. I don't think he has knockouts off of counter shots, but that counter shot that he landed on Julian Williams, that led to his downfall in that fight. That led to his downfall. That uppercut. That was beautifully set up. So I think that's in his favor. That's in his favor, and his jab. I think he has good timing on the jab, man. I know Golovkin was really off, and I had Golovkin winning that fight going in. He was really offset by Charlo's jab, but he decides to pump it. But my thing is, will you go in? You know, will your jab go to the wayside again once you start, you know, seeing that man's footwork? When that man starts using his lateral movement, you know what I'm saying? Will you get frustrated and just start launching power shots, hoping and praying that something lands? He did. Like Jamal, when he uses his jab, is really effective, man. It's really an impeccable jab, really good timing on the jab, really good snap on the jab. Feels like a power punch. It feels like a power punch. But you dig, my biggest takeaway from that fight, with, you know, before they went into the fight with him and Golovkin, was his lazy jab. Man, he really proved me wrong with his jab. Like, yo, he pumps the jab. And when he pumps the jab, it's very effective. So if he could discipline himself, if Ronnie Shields can get that man steady working the jab, pumping the jab, no matter what, at least get it out there. Kind of like how Tony Harrison was doing, like, you know, this Saturday. Just get it out there. Just get it out there. Just get it out there. Hopefully he'll be able to do something with, you know, off of it. Tony Harrison wasn't necessarily trying to do anything off of it. It's like he was trying to find himself. Let me at least put him. I got all these cobwebs, so I don't feel comfortable throwing off of the jab, but I can at least throw the jab. That, you know, you learn that as, you know, them is the basics. So I think that right there would that right there is, you know, that's in favor of a Charlo. And like I said, with his timing, you know, Andrade's biggest issue with me that I see, besides his balance, is the fact that there's just so much space in between his punches. Like, it's so, like Teddy Atlas says, he calls them fat. There's so much fat on them shots. It's a lot of fat. He throws really wide. Throws really wide. And you see this window right here? That's as wide as the shots he be throwing. It's real wide. It's real loopy. It's real loopy. It's real loopy. And it's stamina as well. You dig? Like, Charlo has proven to have a really good tank. Like, he doesn't too much fade. I haven't seen him fade. I can't think of an instance where he faded. I can't even, you know, in the Coraball fight when he was getting beat up, he rallied hard, especially in the 12th round. So when you look at Andrade, who comes out fast, hands blazing, man, the first 2 rounds he's looking to, I think he's really like, man, let me see if I can't get him out of here in 2 rounds. I'll go back to the, you know, I'll go back to the game plan. I'll use my jab and my lateral movement, man. He steps to you in the first couple of rounds. But the thing is, what happens when you, because I haven't seen Charlo hurt thus far. I haven't seen him wobbled. I haven't seen him stagger. None of that. He's just played a really good chin thus far. Can you, like, you know, I don't think you could afford to do that with a Charlo. I don't think you could afford to do that with a Charlo. Just come out fast and then hopefully, nah. But you run the risk with those looping shots of getting caught in between punches and exchanges. You run that risk. Because Charlo's not just going to stand there. He's going to swing back. So those are the takeaways from that. As far, I think, you know, and his balance, man. I just think he just really, his balance is just, I don't know what it is, man, but his balance is just so, it is goofy. I can't understand it. Somebody to be that graceful on their feet, but, you know, trip over their own shoelaces. And, you know, it'd be a stringless shoe. But as far as that fight is concerned, I figured it'd be a 50-50 fight. But I'd have to edge Andrade just because I haven't seen a fleet-footed fighter in there against the Charlo, so I don't know how he will react to that. I've seen I've seen Andrade in there with an aggressor, a front foot dominant fighter who was there to be hit the entire fight. And he didn't allow himself to get coaxed into a shootout, you know, to get him. He didn't allow dude to play, you know, the mind game to persevere. So I see, you know, he showed me really good mental fortitude in there. Like, no, I'm gonna stay doing what I do. I'm gonna stay doing what I do. I'm not about to sit here and just bang it out with you. I'm not doing that. So I've seen Andrade with an aggressive fighter. I haven't seen Charlo with a fleet-footed fighter. But I've seen, you know, you know, just also, you know, stylistically, Charlo's a front foot dominant fighter. Andrade's the more fleet-footed fighter. So I'd favor Andrade in that fight. Now, my next one is Golovkin. I think when I said Andrade may have the better feet of the three, I had to somewhat exclude Golovkin because I haven't seen too many fighters. I haven't seen a fighter at all be able to keep Gennady Golovkin at bay. I haven't seen a fighter stay away from Golovkin. I haven't. Danny Jacobs tried, but Danny Jacobs eventually had to realize I'm gonna just have to stay and bang it out with this dude because it's just I can't get away from him. So would that fleet-footedness be enough, you know, to keep Golovkin at bay? And honest, man, I think Golovkin is a different type of footwork, man. Like, he cuts the ring off, you know, beautifully. It's not angles, you know what I'm saying? It's not good. It's not impeccable lateral movement. It's not step backs. You know what I'm saying? It's not anchoring yourself to catch a shot and shoot back off of the shot, then taking that extra step back so he can't be in position to get off of it. No, it's none of that. It's strictly cutting the ring off. Like, I want to hurt you, and I'm coming to hurt you. That's Golovkin's approach to footwork. Andrade is the more fleet-footed fighter that can tap dance from the outside, but I just don't see it. I don't see it hindering Golovkin in that, you know, in that magnitude. You dig? And we talk about a Charlo jab and how lazy it can get and how inactive it can go. As good as Charlo's jab is, it's not a Golovkin jab, dude. Like, Golovkin's jab is. Golovkin has the better timing on the jab. You dig? You know, I think it's heavier. His jab is heavier. His jab opens you up to other shots landing a lot more effectively than a Charlo jab. And it's his best punch. It's his best punch. Even though Golovkin has the hooks and the uppercuts and the right straight, his jab, I think, is, you know, his jab is going to set the table for everything. And he has a really good body attack. He has a really good body attack, man. And a chin. All three of these cats have better chins than Andrade. All of them. I'm not, yeah, I don't like saying chin too much because all it, you know, a well-placed shot is going to get any nigga up out of there, man. But, you know, these are cats who haven't been dropped yet. Andrade's been dropped at 54. Golovkin has not been dropped. And we barely see, we ain't seen him hurting. We seen him hurt with Derevianchenko, and we seen him backing up with Canelo. But I just, Derevianchenko had a really good game plan going into that fight. I don't think Andrade is going to engage Golovkin. I don't think he would engage Golovkin in the same manner that Derevianchenko did. So, I'd have to. I wouldn't say Golovkin knocks out Charlo because I see him dropping him though. I most definitely see that. I most definitely see him dropping him. But it's Golovkin is just up there in age, you know, and that's the only thing. And now I'm gonna do like we haven't seen signs of wear and tear like that on Golovkin. We really haven't. We really haven't. And I'm not the biggest fan of Golovkin, but. You dig? Like, you know, I just gotta call it down the middle. I haven't seen too much signs of wear and tear on him despite his age. And I've also been saying, oh man, age ain't, you know, you can't go about age. It's attrition and how your body reacts to the accelerated age. Golovkin hasn't shown too much attrition and lack of what he's normally, lack of mobility, none of that shit. I haven't seen that shit from Golovkin this far. I've seen, you know, I've seen a really solid Golovkin. Even with the, I don't know how to pronounce dude's name. Dude shouldn't have been in there in the ring with him. Even when you look at a Derevianchenko, that was a good fight. I thought Derevianchenko won the fight. That was a damn good fight. Can't nobody say that wasn't, like, them motherfuckers was in there brawling. So I haven't seen too much signs of wear and tear on Golovkin. It's a boxing match, niggas gonna get hurt. But I'm about to, oh man, Golovkin got hurt to the body and run off. And I'm not gonna do it. Just like Charlo got hurt to the body, I ain't gonna run off with that. Or he's soft to the body. Nah, these are skilled professionals, man, high class professionals. So as far as Golovkin and Andrade is concerned, man, I think once again him opening up so wide on those hooks and those uppercuts. And Golovkin already has the impeccable timing on the jab to split your guard and catch you opening up. I see Golovkin fucking up Andrade. I won't say a knockout, but I see Golovkin putting hands and feet on Andrade. I do, man. It's a very good fight, and I would love to see it. And I could very much so be wrong from what I've seen between the two. Golovkin is far more compact in his punches, man. He's compact in his punches, and I think he's better when everybody talks his Mexican. He talks his Mexican style shit. He's better when he's the one doing the imposing. You dig? I think when Canelo stood there with that Mexican style shit, he was very uncomfortable because it wasn't something that he was used to. A motherfucker who can punch like that, and you can't back him up neither. When he's the one imposing his will, he's a lot more comfortable. So he'll be in his element fighting a fleet-footed fighter like Andrade. All right, I gotta go find you. All right, cool. You ain't standing here. You ain't giving me cause, because he's not the most defensive fighter. That's not his game. If I'm sitting here and I'm banging with you, I gotta do something that kind of goes against my fighting identity. All right, so I'd rather go and find you. Let's go find this nigga. So he'll find him. And when he finds him, so I just think Golovkin wins that fight, man. I think he, off of what I saw, I'd say 10-2, 9-3 with a knockdown in there. So I'd go with Golovkin in that fight, man. As far as Canelo is concerned, Canelo is one of the dudes that I think Canelo has the best chance at stopping an Andrade. And outside of being defensively immaculate, Charlo, Andrade has the far better, superior footwork to Canelo. He does. Far superior footwork. I won't even front like he doesn't. He's far better on his feet than Canelo. But Canelo is, like I've said it before, he's good enough and light enough on his feet to get himself into position. Everybody wants to, cite the Lara performance. People forget he was trapping Lara on the ropes in spurts. And nobody wants to talk about that. Mid-ring, Lara was winning. Off the rope early on, Lara was winning. Canelo couldn't catch his timing. He couldn't get his timing down. And Lara is he's very economical with his punches as well. So, it's a different story when a motherfucker is just unloading shots in combination on the regular. All right, cool. I know your punch pattern. I know when you get set to throw this shot. I know all that. I have your rhythm. It's hard to catch Lara's rhythm because he's so economical. So now that all right, cool, after 6 rounds, all right, bet that. I'm on to you now. Let's go to work. Andrade isn't that. And once again, Andrade isn't as compact with his shots as Irislandi Lara. The biggest thing I'm taking away from Andrade is those looping shots. He tried to time Liam Williams with that wide looping uppercut. He tried to, and Liam Williams he's not a counterpuncher. He's not a counterpuncher. You put that in front of a Canelo Alvarez, it's bad. It's very bad, actually. And Canelo's not a dude that you're gonna just, at this moment, that's why I really can't wait for this Billy Joe Saunders fight, man. I want to see where he's at and how much he's grown since. I know when Andrade is most effective when he's throwing off of his shots. Oh, not throwing off his shot, but when he's throwing off of his movement. When he's pot shotting, he's sticking in movement, he's sticking and moving, he's sticking and moving. He'll plant and throw something heavy and get back out. That's when he's at his best. That's when he's at his best. And Canelo, like I want to make sure that I'm not even gonna speak on that until I see how he does with Saunders, because Saunders is the same way. I want to make sure, but I feel like it'd be neutralized. But I want to make sure that when Saunders, in the next couple of weeks when him and Saunders fight, I'd have a better analysis of it. But he's really effective when he throws off of his movement. He's very effective in that regard when he's doing that. Because when he would go inactive and just stay there and just move and move and move and move, and it wasn't like it was unnecessary movement, he was just staying on the outside. That's when Liam Williams was having his best, his best rounds, his best moments. That's when he was winning rounds. You know what I'm saying? That's when he was clipping them. That's when he was hurting them. With Canelo, and the one thing, like I said, he timed him coming in, but he just, he was set, he was working on it. Like he tried to set a trap, and Liam Williams called it, and he got back out. And he wasn't in position to counter, and he's never in position to counter because he's just not a counter puncher. So when you talk about a cat like Canelo, who is just far more defensively responsible than a Liam Williams, you're not gonna just, he was setting traps with that uppercut the whole night on Liam Williams, and he was eating them to it, to his credit. But Canelo is like his step back. I hate saying pull counter, even though that's what it is. In my gym, we call it a step back. His step back right hand is just insane. Or even his step back uppercut. You dig? Like, just, it's too many dimensions that he could do. He could slip the shot and slip to the inside and counter off of that. But if you're talking about his uppercut, like what he was doing, we can just really just unpack that. His uppercut that he was trying to walk Liam Williams into the whole entire night. How he steps back off of that uppercut and launches that right hand, it's nothing there. It's no defense there. It's no defense there if somebody was to counter that shot that Andrade does, because his defense is compromised because of how wide he throws with them shots. You're not the thing. Canelo has a speed advantage over Andrade as well, and like Golovkin, he's not gonna catch Golovkin. Golovkin to catch you opening up. Canelo's not gonna catch you opening up. He's gonna be first. He's gonna be first, and he's going to make you miss and make you pay. He's gonna make you miss and he's gonna make you pay. And another thing, he was on when he would get trapped on the ropes on Saturday. When Liam Williams would catch him on the rope. Liam Williams was, he's not really, like his punch placement isn't as accurate as a Canelo. It isn't, man. He was doing, he was catching him a lot on the back, like literally, hitting him on his back. It wasn't scoring shots, and it wasn't as effective. Canelo's gonna catch you. He's gonna catch you right. He's gonna catch you on that rib. He's gonna catch you right in this. That just is what it is, bro. He's gonna dip a little bit more to get full leverage on that shot while you leaning against the rope out of, thinking you're out of range. And he's gonna bust your shit up. He's gonna bust your shit up, man. I think once again, it all goes back to how Andrade starts also with these matches. It all goes back to that. Is he gonna come out just full throttle? That's what a lot of that shit is incumbent on that. Is he gonna come out full throttle and just go to war, or is he gonna sit there and be a lot more calculated in his attack and his approach? And I just, if he comes out like that on any of the three mentioned, it's really gonna be a long night for him. If it's even a long night, it might be a short night for him. But Canelo, I think, is the biggest. For one, he has the youth, he has the experience, and he has more dimensions than all of them cats. Even a Golovkin, he has more dimensions than Golovkin. Golovkin is just extremely solid at what he does. Golovkin is heavy-handed. You dig what I'm saying? He's heavy-handed. He has really good timing. All of that shit. Canelo has the speed. Canelo has the counter punching. Canelo has the feints. He has immaculate head movement and defense. He just ring generalship, IQ. He has all of this shit. And his feints, man. Like, one thing, he'll flash a straight and launch that lead uppercut up the middle with his lead hand. That's it. Him throwing his hook, he'll flash his, I spoke on it before. He'll flash the hook to the body. He'll lower his level, so he'll drop a level to make you think that he's about to throw a left hook to the body, and he's changing the trajectory and launching that shit up top. Now your jaw's swollen. He has the feints, foot feints. Even him getting into position, he'll feint you in the position. I watched the fight, a breakdown of him and Amir Khan, and the dude was right. Like how he was feinting in position, like with his feet. Feinting his feet to make you think he's going to be in a specific position to attack, and you react to that position. You react to that, whether you overextend it or you're apprehensive on the attack because you don't. He's just keeping you guessing. Just little mind games like that, man. That's what I think Canelo has the biggest shot at knocking Andrade out, stopping him. Now, I think also I want to be fair as well. The footwork of Andrade is going to give Canelo and Charlo the biggest problems. I think that's where he will have his most success at with them two is his feet. His feet will set will set him off. Us, kind of make it a lot more of a hindrance for them to, what I'm saying, get in rhythm. It will, and I think with Golovkin, shit, man. I mean, if Golovkin I gotta see Golovkin in action again because I want to say his age, but I don't want to say his age neither because he hasn't shown signs of attrition. But Father Time is undefeated, and he is about to be 39 if he isn't already 39. But I don't see, I don't. If this was the Golovkin that fought Danny Jacobs, I might say he's the biggest threat to Andrade. I might say that. Because it's going to come down to, he's not going to be able to get away from Andrade, from Golovkin as easily as he would with Charlo and Canelo. He's not going to be able to get away from him as easy as them two. He's not. And Golovkin is, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's gonna be who's gonna get off first, because neither one of them are elite counterpunchers. I don't perceive, Andrade as a counterpuncher. I don't. He's a slightly better counterpuncher than Golovkin, but to the degree that of even a Charlo, no, I can't give him that title. So I think he possibly have the biggest, the hardest time, the biggest trouble with Golovkin. But I just think Canelo, just due to age, and he's on a hot streak right now, I think he stands the biggest chance of knocking him out because of the counterpunching. Even though Andrade's footwork can really offset a lot of what Canelo can do. But I just think, I think at the moment, Canelo stands the biggest chance of knocking him out because of the counterpunching. Golovkin is, I might have, I kind of want to switch it, but I won't switch it. I think he does struggle a little bit more with Golovkin because I don't think he can do anything to stay away from Golovkin. And his counterpunching won't keep him at bay because he's not the best counterpuncher. I just think it'd be his footwork and him getting off first. It's kind of it's kind of evenly matched between those two. Andrade has the better feet. Golovkin has the better timing on the shots. But Canelo is just defensive prowess and his counter punching, I think, is really going to deal Andrade fits more so than anything. Because I mean, as good as Liam Williams wasn't never coming in off he would come in off at that angle or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, he would come in off that angle. He would, but Canelo's gonna find himself. He's gonna find his footing. He's gonna find his distance. And once he does that, here we go. We can say what we want to say about Danny Jacobs, but Danny Jacobs is far more accomplished than Andrade. And I still think he can beat Andrade. So I'm saying, bro, like, let's stop the bullshit. However, I do think Andrade is in the fight. I do think he's still in the fight. I do think Andrade is worthy. He could possibly beat all of them. He could possibly beat all of them. But I just think Canelo is a little bit. Canelo and Golovkin are. I think it would be too much at this time for Andrade. I do. And I shouldn't be saying this because, you know, somebody might fuck around and just happen to watch my video one day, and when I want to talk shit about Golovkin, I won't be able to because I got evidence of a nigga saying, nah, man, I think he possibly stops Andrade. But, you know, it's not to denigrate Andrade, man. I thought he had a really good performance. I loved his performance. I did, you know, like I said, he showed mental fortitude, and that's another thing when it comes to I would rate his level of aggression. I would say it's more compatible with a Charlo as far as Williams is concerned. So I think, you know, he'd be better to deal with a Jamal Charlo because none of them bring on the type of pressure that Golovkin does. None of them. So I think he'd be more suited. That level of pressure would be more suited for a nigga like Charlo for him to be able to deal with. Like, all right, cool. I've seen this before, slightly. So I think, you know, it'd be easier for him to deal with a Charlo. But like I said, either one of these cats could beat. You know, he could beat them. He could beat all of the cats that I mentioned. He could beat all of them dudes. But that's who I would favor going into this fight. I would favor Golovkin and Canelo over Andrade, and I'd favor Andrade over Jamal Charlo. But I think that's literally a 50-50 fight. That's how I feel about it, at least, man. So like and subscribe. Let me know if I'm burnt the fuck out or if I'm on to something, man. Peace.